Which camera do I look at?
No, you don't.
None. Just
Okay.
Look at Alister.
okay. We're just having a chat.
We're just having a chat. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? What made you join as an apprentice?
I like the idea of earning money whilst learning.
Why do you believe apprenticeships are so important for the construction industry?
There is a lot of stigma about like, oh, it's all men in construction, there's no women, and that's not true.
It's almost like a massive family.
Yeah, so my boss keeps telling me.
Welcome to the Morgan Sindall podcast.
Thank
It's
you.
National Apprenticeship Week. Can you tell us a bit more about why you're here?
I certainly can. So now area director for Morgan Sindall. I started my career journey as an apprentice many years ago where you guys are. So I'm here to talk to you about my journey and apprenticeships for National Apprenticeship Week.
What made you join as an apprentice?
Blimey, good question. So it was different many years ago. So I joined at age 16. At 15, 16, I definitely had enough of full-time education, so I wasn't ever really keen on the full-time degree route, and I wanted to find something that suited what I was interested in, so numbers predominantly, but not being stuck at a desk all day. So I looked at what was available and chose to head into construction. My dad was a planner,
Cool.
county planner, so there was a little bit of knowledge of the industry, but not much, I would say, and certainly not from a commercial perspective. But I like the idea of earning money whilst learning and not being at education full time. So
that basically cemented what you wanted to do. Like, so you didn't want to go to college or university, you want to go straight into work.
yeah, I wanted to earn money and have a bit of fun whilst I was learning, rather than, in my head at the time, go and rack up a load of debt to have the same amount of fun. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, which I guess is, well, be interested to you guys. What's made you choose the apprenticeship route?
I think very similar to you, to be honest. I didn't want to do uni full time. It wasn't for me. I actually hated school. Like studying, I really struggle with. To do that like really full on, it's not for me. And uni's so expensive.
Yeah.
Like the loans, all of my friends went to uni full time and they're in crazy debt now. And I obviously don't have any debt, which is great.
Well, and we have a few graduates in the business who say the same. You know, still different experiences, but just a very different route to a similar outcome, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah, and for me, coming out of college, age 18, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I decided that uni wasn't an option for me. I didn't want to spend all that money going for a degree course and then not knowing what to do coming out at the end of it. So I thought joining Morgan Sindall would be the best place for me to go, just so I can earn and also earn a degree at the end of it as well. So
yeah, I think the benefit is having the on-the-job experience whilst you're doing the degree, and it all just kind of coordinates and makes sense, rather than doing a degree that you can't really relate to anything and you don't have an experience, and how you're going to get a job if you don't know anything after, you know,
and the
5
experience
years.
you gain, and I can say this with the benefit of hindsight, but that experience you gain through the on-site, the in-office, the learning from people who are sharing their knowledge and experience is absolutely fantastic.
they're life skills, aren't they?
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. You know, any degree is fantastic, any education is fantastic, but the skills of leadership, teamwork, resilience, commitment, all that sort of stuff is learned through the early days of an apprenticeship, isn't it?
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think it gives you like the confidence to go out there and talk to people that you probably haven't met before, where when you go through college and uni, you're probably quite closed in your own little bubble. You don't get that life skill of going out to subcontractors, for example, and meeting new people all the time. So I think that's quite a good skill to have.
I think you learn how to communicate with different people.
Yes.
Whereas at uni, generally, you're surrounded by people around your age.
Yeah.
And we all communicate the same way. So like me and Stam, you know, we're similar ages, so we will talk to each other the same kind of way. Whereas when I like email someone who's been in the industry 30 years, it's quite different.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of professionalism as
But
well.
you get to communicate with that whole range, don't you?
Yeah,
and a
exactly.
lot of time you have to do it by yourself,
Yeah.
on a site, in an environment that you're not used to, and that you have to get that confidence pretty quickly, I would say, as an apprentice. Which is great for everything in life.
Definitely.
You're not scared to ask questions, that's for sure.
Well, evidently not. Do you think all of those kind of life skills that you've learned as you've gone through your apprenticeship has kind of pushed you to where you are now?
Career-wise or
Yes.
personally? So career-wise, I would say I think they've definitely helped. the communication, listening is absolutely key. I think many people underestimate that, but you don't have to be the loudest, you don't have to be the shoutiest, but take on board. So listening, teamwork, really, really important. But yeah, I think the skills early that you might not appreciate, you're kind of gathering now. Sometimes it can feel a bit like, oh, here we go again, or why are we doing this? But you do realise that in future years that's really valuable.
So in terms of your career as a whole, obviously you're 32 years in now, what would you say is your proudest moment?
I love the fact that I'm now supported to run a business unit. So the team effectively in Eastern Counties, which you guys are part of, really does make me proud to a point that's really difficult to explain, because having grown up through the business, there's a lot of people that are teaching you guys now that taught me. So, the team kind of know that I understand the challenge of what you're going through. So that I really do appreciate. Sorry, Sam, what was the original question? I just said about how important listening was.
Yeah, like your most. So yeah, your proudest moment in your career so far.
Proudest moment. So multiple. Being made area director, really chuffed with that. I'd aspired to it for a number of years before, but not, at your age.
No.
For first few years, I was just happy to be earning a wage and being able to go on holiday with friends. So I didn't really have massive career aspirations until I really became kind of a senior QS level. And then I started getting into management and understanding that actually a huge part of the job that I enjoy was developing others, giving them opportunities and supporting the likes of you guys to develop your career. And I get so much joy now out of seeing our apprentices' careers fly. And I want you guys to be the managers, the future directors, the future leaders of the business, which you can be. And I think you seeing me here is clearly proof that happens. And you don't have to go like that these days. You can flip around, and certainly the business supports that. So I think becoming AD, really proud moment. But likewise from the teams you're in, proud moments, job completions, handovers, satisfied, all of that, every single step is just amazing.
I think for me, as someone who's quite recent to the business, looking from an outside perspective, just as I joined, how close everyone is. So I don't feel like there's much of a hierarchy, so to speak. So I feel like I'm comfortable to go and talk to you or Peter or anyone like that. And I don't feel like nervous to do that. I think that's really important as well, because you don't have to be, you can either be an apprentice or you can be a manager or anyone like that. Anyone can talk to anyone, and you're not belittled in any way. And so it makes you feel quite comfortable joining the business, almost like a massive family. Yeah. Which is really good. That's
music to my ears. This is not scripted particularly, but to hear that and know that you feel like that, because a lot of people don't do that in many businesses. I think we do here, and a bit like the career journey, seeing you guys develop and be the future of that business with that knowledge that you've got the support and it's not hierarchical to be afraid of
so I had an issue or something like that, I could come to you, and I know you'd be quite happy to help me if I was struggling with something or needed help with my career or anything really.
And you know that we've all been there as well.
Exactly.
Whether it's struggling with college work or teams on site, but it's not like
everyone's
we're
really
strangers.
Understanding.
Everyone gets it. We're quite people orientated.
Do you find that in the teams as well?
Yes.
And not just our teams, but as learners engaging with the operatives on site or clients or consultants, people are quite professional. To help these days.
I was quite shocked when I first came into construction. I did a little bit of work experience, but I never really interacted with the subbies too much. And you hear all the horror stories of the guys on site and they're horrible, and it's not true. I don't know where that has come from, because actually, I go on site, everyone's lovely and they know you're an apprentice, and I go and ask them the silly questions that aren't actually silly questions, and they answer it, and there's no, why don't you know that? It's like, I'm here to learn, and
that as well.
And it's really nice. Everyone, no matter what team they're on, even the client team, they don't look at you or look down on you for not knowing something. they'll just inform you and kind of bring you up to their level, which
I
is
think
nice.
most people are really happy to share what
Yeah.
they know.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's a director or a carpenter or a consultant, it makes people feel good to share what they
Yeah.
know, and then you know that you're being taught the right stuff, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a very nice feeling, but you won't probably know where you want to. I don't know. Do you know where you want to? Where do you see yourselves going?
Oh, good question. So I've got a year and a half left of uni.
Uh-huh.
So once I'm finished with uni, I'll then progress through the QS ranks, hopefully. I'd definitely like to get to an MQS. I would like to go higher, but I don't know whether I would want to pivot into like project management. I'm not sure. I don't think I'll know until I get there, but I know that I will be supported no matter what I want to do. I mean, I'd like to get to where you are, to be honest, but
Careful what you wish for.
but I don't know until I kind of get to that point. It might be too intense. I might not want to do it. So I don't know until I kind of get to that point.
And some days, all I want to do is get back to a job, look at the numbers, and know everything about that one job.
Yeah.
And you miss that team, but you have a different team, a bigger team, and so yeah, I can fully understand that feedback. It's yeah. How about you, Sam?
Well, I haven't started uni yet. I start uni next month, and I'm currently going through all my rotations at the start of my apprenticeship. For the viewers that don't know, every 6 months you'll go through different job roles. So I've totally left the door open for now. I'm actually really enjoying estimating at the minute, but in 2 years' time that might completely change. I might turn into a QS, might be a site manager, who knows. So the door's completely open at the minute. We'll see how uni gets on as well. So yeah, I know I'll be supported as well throughout whatever I want to do. But yeah.
Did you ever think you'd get to area director level when you were like our position?
At your position, absolutely not. That wasn't on the radar. I think it probably wasn't until entering management that I thought I liked the idea of the supporting people and shaping the business and get a real buzz out of that. But no, you find some people, from early doors want to be CEO of X, or I wouldn't honestly say I was ever that person, but I developed into wanting to do more. Yeah. And I've been fortunate to do so.
Okay.
I'm going to talk a bit more about apprenticeships as a whole, really, and I want to ask, why do you believe apprenticeships are so important for the construction industry, and do you think they're the best way to get into the industry?
The industry, as we all know, is fantastic opportunities, growth. Everything that we do in this world, I think, pretty much needs some form of infrastructure or building to do it in.
Yeah.
So all of these other industries that are growing, and schools and places of work, don't happen without us making that possible to change those environments. But the people coming in are so few on numbers compared to what we need. So I think anything that we can do as an employer to encourage apprentices to come into the industry is brilliant, because without the likes of yourselves, there will be no future people to deliver the industry. So I think it's right that we support that. How do I think they differ? I think we've touched on it a little bit in the previous conversation, but that the on-the-job experience, I think, experienced hires bring wealth of knowledge, experience from different parts of the industry. Graduates bring different experience and education and life experience that is different to apprentices. But I think the apprentices that you guys work with and that we develop, not only do you get that on the ground experience, but you also get to develop in line with our values and culture. So people we bring in at, age 30, worked somewhere else for 10 years, we have to then develop that within them, whereas you guys sort of grow up feeling it a bit like, I think one of you said earlier, like a family.
Yeah.
So you kind of get the feel of the business as well as the education, which is really important to us, and well, hopefully to you guys, because you said you feel comfortable here and that sort of thing. So how about you? Because you're obviously apprentices, you've chosen that route. I still think there's a bit of a stigma against apprenticeships for some reason.
There definitely is.
I have a view on that, but I'd be interested to see your view on why they're important and why there's still that stigma you just agreed, Faye. So
I don't really know why there's still a stigma around it. I think it's just like a longevity thing that people view it as a lesser route because it's not a full-time degree and, you know, you're not... Do you know what I mean? Where it's...
that you haven't gone to university
yeah,
almost.
which I do go to university. I just don't live there.
Yeah.
You know, I go once a week. Like, it makes no difference. Like, in my view, I mean, I'm obviously quite biased, but I think an apprenticeship is actually the better route because you earn while you learn, you get your degree paid for, you have the on-the-job experience, you do get the other benefits.
I should get you to talk to my daughter, shouldn't I? I'm having this debate with her because she's fixed on university, and I was having a chat with her about this podcast beforehand, and she totally agreed that there is still a stigma because
Definitely.
people, I don't know, school leavers, even A-level, almost think it's the easier route to take an apprentice.
Yeah.
Which is actually
do you think that?
not, no, definitely not.
Good.
I think uni is hard, definitely. When I first joined the apprenticeship, I went to uni on my second week. So effectively, I didn't know anything about construction, whether it was degree related or work related. And both routes were really hard because I'm brand new, you know, I was freshly out of sixth form. But if I just did the degree, I'd just be learning stuff at uni, and that was what would be
taught on paper.
Yeah.
Almost.
And in the skills for life kind of scenario, are you finding that mixing that apprenticeship, because you're obviously then an employee, you're trying to do a good job here 4 days a week.
Yeah.
If you're on day release, others are on block release, but trying to fit that in and work everything here plus your time management of a degree and everything else, I would say is harder than a full-time degree, but we're all biased because we came through the apprenticeship route. But Sam, thoughts?
I'd definitely say that my confidence has definitely grown since joining the business. Probably when I started, a lot of people in the office would say I'm quite quiet and quite introverted, but now I'd say I'm quite extroverted. I can talk to people, anyone in the office, have a laugh and joke. And you kind of quickly learn to understand that everyone's in the same position as you, and there's nothing to be afraid of. And I don't feel afraid to talk up in meetings if I have a question now, whereas at the start I'd probably go quite in on myself and wouldn't say or like contribute to the meeting as much. But yeah, I definitely say my confidence has grown since joining the business.
Well, hold on to that, because as you develop your career, you'll find that people ask less questions in meetings because they don't want to appear stupid. But at any level, I would say if you don't know, ask.
Yeah, I especially agree with that at this stage, especially just because you don't know anything. Like, people can be talking about stuff in meetings and you don't have a clue what's going on. But just making notes, even if it's making notes and then asking them at the end. But yeah, I was always told no question is a stupid question. So
absolutely,
yeah,
definitely. What were the benefits like when you joined as an apprentice?
Worse.
At least they're getting better.
Wow, it was a long time ago, Faye. So I could scare you with a starting salary which was under £4,000.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. How times have changed. There was no car. I don't think mobile phone, you know, I could do the whole old thing because things were very different back then. So there's lots of material changes. Tech, obviously, it was just virtually non-existent. We didn't have computers, we didn't have mobiles, they were not there. You know, the work was very different. The apprenticeship, though, I would say is very similar. It was about people, it was about creating lasting relationships. It was about learning building, and we're still putting foundations in before we put walls up and roofs on, so that hasn't changed a lot. But the rotation was exactly the same. I say exactly the same. I did the same rotation that you guys did, 6 months through all the various departments, which I loved because you get to see, you think you want to do one thing, but then you get a choice to, well, actually I really like engineering or estimating. And
did any of those rotations turn your head slightly?
Yeah, I was really close to becoming an engineer. I loved the fact that when you're out on site, nothing grows a bit unless you've set it out or unless you've checked it to make sure it's plumb, or you know, if you didn't set it out, it wasn't going to get built. So I loved the fact that you sort of almost physically had a hand in doing that. But I chose I also had a likeness for the numbers, the commercial, the contractual. So I kept with that sort of inside outside at the time.
Yeah.
Fair weather maybe, but yeah, that was my only real head turn at that point. So if I can, a few questions to you guys. So, are you the first people in your family to get an apprenticeship?
Yes, I am. Although my cousin has recently now got an apprenticeship, but I am the first in my family to do an apprenticeship. So I'm almost like the guinea pig in terms of my siblings and my other family members. But yeah, I'd say I'm really enjoying it at the minute. I definitely would rather do an apprenticeship. I don't regret my choice than not going to university. So yeah, I don't know about you, Faye. Are you the first one in your family?
I am, yeah. First apprentice in the family. I'm the first one to get a degree in my family as well. And very much what Sam said, you know, I am really enjoying it. It's great. I'm glad I did it.
And what do your families think about it?
They love it. They think it's great. Like my dad's the one who kind of pushed me into construction.
Was he in construction?
No, so he's not in the industry. And I was maybe like 10 at the time. And I really liked numbers, really good at maths. And he was like, oh yeah, like, you know, eventually you're going to have to get a job. Like, do you know what you want to do? And I was like, I'm going to be a maths teacher. He was like, you're not doing that. Like, you can go further than that. And he kind of pushed me and he really believed in me. And he was the one, he worked with someone who was a QS and he had spoken to him and obviously heard how great it was. And he was like, why didn't you think about this? I literally didn't know anything about it. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll consider it, whatever, and kind of pushed it off. And a few years later, I was at high school and I did some work experience and it was with Morgan Sindall. And then like the QS role came up and I was like, oh, actually, now it's all kind of fitting together and I guess it was meant to be.
And from what you've done so far, do you think your families actually know or understand what you do within the industry, or not really?
Not really.
No?
Sometimes I work from home and like my mum will walk past and she'll see like a spreadsheet in the background and she'll be like, oh, Christ, I can't do that. That's too complicated. And I do explain like what I do day to day and she then kind of gets it. And like my dad understands what I do. But I think a lot of the information goes over their head because they're not in the industry.
Yeah.
I think that's probably part of the stigma of people coming into it, is that no one knows about it.
Did you have a perception of the industry before you came in? And what would you say to people who maybe had that same perception now that you've been in the industry for a while?
So just going back, my dad was part or is part of like almost the supply chain in part of construction. So I've always looked at it as you just build stuff and you just supplying the whatever you're making really. So my perception was very, you just build a building. There's nothing behind it, not really.
It just happens.
Yeah, it just happens.
Magic.
Magic.
You turn around 5
Brilliant.
seconds and it's up. But now actually working in the industry, you can understand how much effort and what goes in behind it and how much you actually do have to prepare in case something bad happens or unexpected happens. But yeah, my perception is definitely a lot more goes into it than what is on the front of the book really. So yeah.
So speaking to people who might be looking to come into the industry, I still feel it's very underrated as an industry. I don't think many think of career opportunities in construction for whatever reason. There's still a bit of stigma as dirty, cold, not very well paid, all that sort of stuff. Do you think that was part of a perception that you had that is now
definitely
very, very different?
Probably a little bit. I did some work experience, so I was kind of aware that it's not what it seems on the tin. But you do have that, like a week is nowhere near enough to kind of tell you what it's like. So you do still have that perception of all of those things you've just listed. But yeah, being here now, it's not that. It's completely different. Like if it was like that, I would have left. I would have done something else. Because that doesn't sound fun.
Yeah,
agreed. But actually, like, none of that's true.
No, and I'd also agree with that. Although I did do work experience with the business as well, and I'd done even extra more for my T-level qualification that I was doing at college. I got to see everything really, so I spent a few days in the office. I was out on site the majority of my time, but I'd definitely say that that stigma is still there in younger people.
Yeah.
So if you go to
Definitely.
college or somewhere like that, it's definitely seen as a low skill trade or something like that. But I definitely disagree with that.
Did you find it when you were at school? It was always like the naughty boys
Yeah, so-
go and do construction.
Yeah, so like if you were misbehaving or anything like that, or you weren't very academic, you go and do bricklaying, or you go and be a plumber or something like that. It was definitely seen as like a low skill trade.
And it was boys.
It was always boys.
It wasn't an industry and isn't, so females coming in the industry, absolutely fantastic, we need more of. But it is that thought still, isn't it? So we've got a lot of work to do to change the perception.
Because obviously we weren't at school that long ago, and that perception is still there, which it just baffles me. Like in my like product design class, it's like the closest thing we had to construction. There was like 3 girls in it, and it was like a class of 30 people.
Wow.
And it's crazy. I believe I am the only girl who went into construction afterwards as well.
So, guys, I know, Sam, you were up at Northgate,
Yep.
which is a CDC centre, so it's providing medical services. Faye, you spent a lot of time at the castle, so a historic monument. From what you've seen delivered, how does that make you feel being part of the journey to deliver something that you know is going to be used or visited by hundreds, if not thousands of people?
Yeah, it makes me feel really proud. So whenever I go down Great Yarmouth, I'll always remember that's where it all began. And that building is now being used to diagnose people and help people get the treatment that they need. I mean,
have you gone past it with friends yet and said, I built that?
Yeah, I have, yeah. And I was like, I know I wasn't on the tools, but I still had an impact. I was still part of that project, and that makes me feel really proud to say that I've worked on that. I'm guessing, Faye, you could probably say the same.
Yeah, it's a really nice feeling, like to know that you've actually had an impact.
Yeah.
Because a lot of jobs, you kind of do the job and that's it. Whereas what we do, it's a legacy. Like, so like you said, I worked on the castle. You never forget your first project. And every time I go to Norwich with my friends, I'm like, yeah, I worked on the castle. And it's a nice feeling to know you've had an impact. Like working on DAC as well. So that's obviously a diagnostic centre. That's going to help so many people. And actually, that's amazing that I got to be part of that. And the whole team, I'm sure they feel the same way.
Yeah.
So it is really lovely.
They very much do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sense of teamwork across everyone as well, and you feel that pride that you're part of a team is definitely quite prominent. Any project team, like everyone, it's like a family within a family. I know I keep going on about families, but it's what it feels like. You feel like you're part of the wider picture. And you feel that pride, definitely. Yeah, even though I haven't experienced that a lot yet, I know I will in the future, and it feels really good.
You'll get it from every single project.
Yeah.
From your apprenticeship so far, what do you think you've learned that will help you, not just in your careers, but through life outside of work, from what you've sort of picked up so far?
Oh, so many things. Time management. I mean, we're all still working on that. But actually, like, managing your time, and so like the minute, I've like so many different meetings, and then there's like loads of work to do, and you're here, there, and everywhere, and you've got uni to do, and managing that at work, that applies outside of work. I've got like appointments, and there's friends I want to see, and there's holidays I want to go on, and you have to manage your time and be able to fit everything in, and life's hard, but it helps, massively helps.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that as well. Also, probably being a younger person, you're not exposed to that like level of time management, and it definitely takes some getting used to at the start. So you've got to be here, there, and everywhere, and to have that level of almost discipline in yourself, just to say, look, I've got to do this, is really good. And I definitely agree with Faye on that. Probably being a really important life skill.
I think resilience is another thing. I think I was quite resilient anyway as a person, but this, like being in the construction, being an apprentice, it's not an easy route, and you do have to really work for it, and you have to be resilient, because you're not going to get the right answer first time, and you do get things wrong, and it is frustrating, and sometimes you get things so wrong you have to keep doing it over and over again, and you just have to keep going.
But each time you get that wrong,
you learn something.
You're learning.
Exactly, and getting things wrong is actually really beneficial.
Yeah.
Because if you get it right first time...
so my boss keeps telling me.
If you get it right first time, you're probably not going to remember it next time.
You don't learn if you don't make mistakes.
Exactly, and you remember all the mistakes, so you don't do it again. So
Relative timescales, certainly compared to me, you've been here quite a short time. Are you having fun?
always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't wake up in the morning and think, oh, I've got work now. I wake up and I actually think, yeah, I can actually make a difference today. And so, yeah, I definitely feel like that.
Definitely. There's obviously some days where I'm a bit like, oh, I'm not having a good day today. But actually, overall, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm actually having a good time. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't be
No,
here.
exactly.
You know, I wouldn't be sat here right now. So, over your career, have you had any really strong advice from anyone that's really stuck with you and kind of pushed you to where you are now?
Loads, absolutely loads, from lots of people that I very much respect and that I've learnt a lot from. So, yeah, lots of what you would probably think quite cliched, but a few that stand out would very much be, if you don't know, ask. You know, don't ever be afraid to ask for help. If you haven't got the answer, have a plan. And, you know, this is your career as an apprentice. You're an apprentice employed by Morgan Sindall, but it's your career. So you need to make stuff happen. The business needs to support you. So take your opportunities, seize the opportunities, and try not to wait for them. Try and make them happen, I would say, rather than just sort of plough along. A lot of people can plough and time serves well.
Yeah.
But take and make your opportunities, I would say.
I think that's good advice. If you went
Thank
back,
you.
if you went back in time, do you think you'd still join as apprentice? And what kind of advice would you give to yourself?
100% I would, because I very much enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way that you learn, so much like you guys are saying, that on the job. So I wouldn't change that for a day. What advice would I give myself? I would probably have put, I shouldn't fess up to this on camera, should I? I would probably put more effort into relationships earlier.
Okay.
We're totally a people business. You'll have heard that numerous times. Whether it's with us, clients, consultants, supply chain, we're all people trying to do a good job. Having those relationships and strong relationships, and got very good relationships, but fostering those from an earlier age and growing your network, I would say, is vitally important.
Yeah, getting to know people.
Yeah. And in all of those relationships, be fair, be kind. It's a small world. It is a small world. So, whoever your supply chain partner is one day might be your client, they might be your apprentice, and then 6 years later they'll be your boss. So, just always treat people as you would.
Yeah, and I can vouch for that as well, because some of the people that are training me now used to work with my dad. So it's kind of like, almost like it's such a small world. Everyone knows each other. Yeah. So just be kind and fair with people, as you said.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Everyone's human.
Definitely.
So, guys, I know my daughter isn't going to come into the industry. She's got different wants. But if you had to try and excite somebody about the industry, inspire them to come into the industry and through the apprenticeship route, how would you do it? Either of you can go first, but I'd like to hear from both. We want people to come into the industry. We think it's brilliant because we're in it. How would you make people want to come into the industry?
I definitely get people to do work experience.
I agree.
Before they started, because it just gives you that picture of what to expect on your apprenticeship without having the commitment of being in an apprenticeship type thing. So it does what it says on the tin. It gives you that experience to think, well, maybe this could be something for me, but it doesn't give you that commitment of being in an apprenticeship. So
it gives you a good flavour of the industry.
it gives you a good idea of what to expect, and how you get to understand the business's culture and how it's basically run. And you get to look behind the scenes almost about what happens. So, yeah.
No, definitely. I think joining Morgan Sindall, obviously, we've got loads of benefits that we can preach. Like, the pay's good. We get better pay than a general apprentice. So that's always a winner. Me and Sam have both gone into schools and spoken to people and said, like, actually, the benefits are great. And like the company cars and stuff. Like, these are all the actual materialistic benefits, but generally, like, it's fun. Every day's different. I'm not just
particularly from a female in construction, Is there something you could say to perhaps young ladies wanting to come into the industry that might be nervous about it, that you just
got to do it. Like, you're not treated differently. There'll be the odd time where like someone will swear on site and apologise to you because you're a lady. I don't care. You know, my language is probably worse than yours, and it's
surely not.
Well, not on camera. But it's just, you're not treated differently because you're a woman. And I think, again, going back to the stigma, there is a lot of stigma about like, oh, it's all men in construction and there's no women, and that's not true. Like, you look around the office and there's a lot more women in now, and that was quite nice when I first joined, because I could see there was other people in the position that actually I want to be in a few years' time, and if they can be there, well, I can definitely do it.
Yeah.
And it's like seeing that you believe you can do it.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I'd give that advice of actually, you can do it. And if you think you can't do it, the only person stopping yourself is you.
Is you,
Yourself,
100%.
yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. So welcome to the Morgan Sindall podcast, National Apprenticeship Week. Why are you here?
Why are you here?
Why are you here?
That's a good question. Yeah. Go.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Go.
Don't set me off.
You got this.
Got this. I'm so sorry.
There is, but just keep saying.
That's a wrap.
That was